Have you ever had that gut feeling, that little voice in the back of your head telling you something is wrong? For Mark, that feeling had been a constant companion for months. He and his wife Clara had been together for 10 years. They were high school sweethearts, the couple everyone looked up to. But lately, a distance had grown between them, a cold silence that filled their once warm home. Clara was always on her phone, smiling at texts she'd quickly hide if he walked into the room. She started working late, urgent projects, she'd say, her eyes never quite meeting his. Mark tried to talk to her, to bridge the gap, but she'd just brush it off, saying he was being paranoid. He wanted to believe her, he really did, but the doubt was a seed that had taken root, and it was growing with each passing day. One evening, Mark was trying to back up some old family photos from his computer onto a hard drive. He was scrolling through folders, a bittersweet journey through happier times. Their wedding, their first vacation, the day they brought home their golden retriever, Buddy. As he navigated through the labyrinth of files, he stumbled upon a folder he didn't recognize. It was labeled temp_sync. Curious, he clicked on it. Inside was a collection of recently deleted files from Clara's phone, automatically synced to their shared cloud account before she had cleared them. His heart started to pound. Most of it was junk, blurry pictures, screenshots of recipes. He was about to close the folder, telling himself he was being ridiculous, when one thumbnail caught his eye. It was a photo of Clara, but she wasn't alone. His hand trembled as he double-clicked the image. It expanded to fill the screen, and the air was sucked from his lungs. There was Clara, laughing, her head resting on another man's shoulder. They were in a cozy-looking bar, a place he'd never been to. The man had his arm wrapped around her, his fingers intertwined with hers on the table. But it wasn't just the intimacy of the pose that hit Mark like a physical blow. It was Clara's expression. It was a look of pure, unadulterated happiness. A look he hadn't seen on her face, directed at him in a very, very long time. The photo was dated just 2 weeks prior, on a night she claimed she was stuck at a mandatory work dinner. The lie was so blatant, so cruel. It was the missing piece of the puzzle, the undeniable proof that his gut feeling had been right all along. The truth he had been so afraid to face was now staring him down from his computer screen in a deleted photo that she never thought he'd see. Mark felt a strange calm wash over him, the kind that comes after a devastating storm. The anger, the hurt, the betrayal, it was all there, churning beneath the surface. But on the outside, he was numb. He saved the photo to a secure folder, a silent piece of evidence. He didn't confront her that night. What was the point? The photo had already said everything. He spent the night on the couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying the last 10 years in his head. Were there other signs he'd missed? How long had this been going on? The woman he thought he knew, the life he thought he had, it all felt like an elaborate fiction. The next morning, Clara came downstairs, cheerful, asking him what he wanted for breakfast, as if nothing was wrong. The casualness of it all was what broke him. He looked at her, truly looked at her, and saw a stranger. He calmly walked over to the computer, opened the photo, and turned the monitor towards her. Her cheerful expression vanished, replaced by a mask of pale shock. The color drained from her face as her eyes darted from the screen to his. Mark, ... double quotes. She started, her voice barely a whisper. But there were no words, no excuses that could erase the image. The truth, once hidden in a deleted file, was now out in the open, and their world was about to shatter. He knew this was the end of their story, but also, in a strange and painful way, it was the beginning of his beginning of moving on, of healing, and of learning to trust his own intuition again. The journey ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in months, the fog of uncertainty had lifted. He saw the path forward, and it was a path he would have to walk alone. This story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the hardest truths are the ones that set us free. It's about the pain of betrayal, but also about the strength it takes to face reality and start over. Finding that hidden photo was devastating for Mark, but it was also the catalyst he needed to reclaim his life. It forced him to confront the lies he was being told, and, perhaps, the small lies he was telling himself just to keep the peace. The silence and distance were symptoms of a much deeper problem, and while the discovery was brutal, it stopped the slow poisoning of his spirit. He could have ignored that temp folder, could have chosen to live in blissful ignorance for a little while longer. But the truth has a way of coming out. It's a testament to the importance of trusting your gut, That inner voice is often your most honest guide, even when it's telling you something you don't want to hear. The aftermath was messy, as it always is. There were tears, accusations, and heartbreaking conversations. Clara tried to explain. The man in the photo was a colleague, she said. It started as a friendship, an escape from the staleness she felt in their marriage. Mark listened, not with anger anymore, but with a quiet sadness. He realized they had both been unhappy, but they had chosen to deal with it in vastly different ways. Mark sold the house, a place that held too many ghosts, and moved into a small apartment in a new part of the city. He focused on his work, reconnected with old friends he'd neglected, and slowly, piece by piece, he started to rebuild his life. Months turned into a year. The sharp pain of betrayal had faded into a dull ache, a scar that would always be there but no longer controlled his every thought. One day, while cleaning out his old hard drive, he came across the photo again. He looked at it for a long moment, at the smiling faces of two people who had caused him so much pain. And then he did something he couldn't have imagined doing a year ago. He dragged the file to the trash bin and clicked empty trash. He didn't need the evidence anymore. The truth wasn't in the photo. It was in the lessons he had learned. He learned to value honesty, to never ignore his intuition, and most importantly, he learned that he was strong enough to survive the unthinkable and build a new, better life for himself. He was finally free. Thanks for watching our story today. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that healing is possible. Sometimes the end of one chapter is just the beginning of a much better story. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more real-life stories that resonate. We'll see you in the next one.